Hey, how's it going? I tried to do a couple lives and I've been having some technical difficulties. So I know a few people were on, but now I had to delete the video, start over. So I'm just gonna, there might be some awkward silence here waiting for people to join. I hope I don't have that issue again. Everything kind of froze and kind of went hard to explain, but things weren't working properly. So I had to kind of jump off the live and start again. So I apologize to those who were commenting and joining the live chat, and then it just ended. Um, but if you are here and you're joining, um, I just wanted to get in touch with people in the community, say hello, talk about previous videos, the topics, and just answer any questions that people or bring up topics that people want to talk about. So if you want me to bring something up, discuss something, please go in the chat, type in whatever you want brought up, and yeah, we could discuss whatever people feel like discussing. So while people do that in the chat, um, I'm just going to touch on the the last video that I did, which was about loneliness and how it relates to ME, CFS, and there was a lot of comments, a lot of responses um, in regards to it. Um, it's kind of this thing that you could tell a doctor how lonely you are because of your illness, and there's really no solution. People don't really empathize with that. They don't really understand, right? Only people in this chat who have ME, CFS, or watching this at a later date, who have ME, can really relate to the loneliness associated with ME, CFS, fibro, any chronic illness that has you housebound or bedbound. The loneliness and the isolation, the social isolation that one deals with. Um, it's a lot. So I'm gonna look in the chat again. If you just joined, please jump in the chat, bring up whatever topic you want, and I'll try to discuss whatever's in the chat as long as I have some awareness of what the topic is. Tower Junkie, it's a cool name. Hello. Hi everyone. I feel it all. Ruby, hello. Elizabeth, hello. Yeah, it's the ME community is just like, a lot of us don't know each other. I've met a lot of really interesting people, but a lot of us don't know each other. But interestingly enough, we all understand each other probably better than some of our own family members to some degree, which is an interesting dynamic. Elizabeth, how do I find an ME literate doctor? So that's really hard to do. Obviously, you know that already. But um, one way is to jump on Facebook groups and support groups, and some of them will have a list of ME literate doctors that they've compiled um, state by state. And then another way is I think ME Action has a list of ME literate doctors, or Solve ME might have them. So that there are websites and organizations and nonprofits that do have a list. I don't know how robust that list is, but it may help you go in the right direction to find an ME literate doctor. And the good news is that it's a little bit, not a lot, it's a little bit easier these days because they might allow you to do telehealth, or a Zoom like, appointment. So you might not have to travel, get on a plane or drive or whatever. So it is a little easier now than it used to be, but still very difficult. Tammy, hi. I thought I had what you have, but it turns out to be Lyme and two co-infections. Tammy, that's not uncommon. That's like, I think a lot of us, when we first got ME, were tested for Lyme several times. Like, I think I've been tested for Lyme like 5 times in the last couple decades. I'm sorry you're going through that. Hopefully that you can get it treated and feel better. But yeah, that's something that a lot of people with ME sometimes people end up having Lyme and not ME. Um, and yeah, sometimes it's very treatable. So hopefully you're one of those people. Do you have the same symptoms? I don't know if that's for me or for someone else, but oh, if you have a question, maybe tag or put question, and then I don't know who people are talking to, but it'll make it easier for me to bring it up if it's something you want me to bring up on the video. Um, let's see. I'll check that out. Seems like the UK has better. Hi from New Mexico. Hey there. Does anyone have any problems with therapists being flaky? I found a great therapist, but she seems to always take time off. I need some serious mental health help, but she's never available. Ruby, that sounds a little dicey. I would maybe look for someone else. Especially when it comes to mental health, I think they need to be available, as much as possible. I think at any job, people want to take time off, but there should be someone available for someone suffering from a mental health issue or especially a crisis, right? So hopefully someone can recommend someone in your area or talk to your doctor about that. I have both Lyme and ME. I'm sorry to hear it's both. That sounds terrible. I'm sorry to hear that. My doctor wouldn't test me for Lyme. He said everybody in my state will. He said everybody in my state will. It's interesting that a doctor wouldn't test for Lyme. That's kind of weird. I do know that it takes like a special lab, um, or it used to test for Lyme. You can't just like go anywhere to do it. Um, my question was for Tammy. Okay, cool. How has gluten free helped anyone? I did gluten free for a while. It helped a little bit, not a ton, but it helped my gut issues a little bit. How do you get family members to actually learn about it? That's a good question, Elizabeth. Um, I was fortunate, to be honest with you, as it relates to family. I had family members that didn't understand and kind of don't to this day, but my core members of my family saw me decline rather quickly, and it's not within my personality to not be very active. Um, I was kind of a young go-getter trying to be an overachiever. I don't know if I accomplished it or not, but so I think when people saw me kind of give up on my career and all these things all kind of at once, exercising, I think they kind of saw how bad I declined. So I didn't have that huge like adoption curve, so to speak, getting family members to understand because they visibly saw me deteriorate so aggressively. Um, and they've seen me try to get better day in and day out. And so I didn't really have to explain a whole lot, um, but I did have to really explain post-exertional malaise. That's the part that we all suffer from, and I think it's hard for people to understand that you can look okay one day and not, and then be really sick later on. That's something that I think um, took a while. That is a part of it that took a while. Let's see here. My doctor was an idiot. Yeah, I think not all. I've had some great doctors, but some are not the best. Um, let's see. How would I know if my tiredness and falling asleep during the day is ME, CFS, or sleeping disorder like hyperinsomnia? Thanks. So, obviously, I'm not a doctor. I can't help diagnose anyone, but I can share my experience. And my experience is if you have post-exertional malaise, um, that is a key symptom of ME, CFS. Other illnesses, people recover a little bit better. There are some illnesses out there, obviously, that crossover. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I do think post-exertional malaise would be a key indicator that maybe it's leaning more to the ME side. Um, but I don't know a lot about sleeping disorders. Maybe they do have some post-exertional malaise, but just as far as a non-expert, I would kind of take a look at your post-exertional malaise patterns and crashes and things like that, brain fog, how the fatigue is during the day when you're not falling asleep, um, and how it pertains to just feeling ill without being tired. Because a lot of ME, that's what it feels like. You're constantly just feeling sick, not always sleepy, but it's different for everyone. Um, Let's see here. The parent technique. Is the parent technique the gland when you get gland drainage? It's like a massaging technique. Angela, is that what I think it is? If that is it, and I'm not wrong, I did try that. It didn't help. Um, it actually made me a lot worse at first. And they were like, "Oh, that means it's working," but I kept doing it. It didn't really help a lot. Let's see here. Thank you for responding. I see how you're going through this also. I've had for 16 years together. Oh, thank you. Yeah, 16 years is a long time. I'm around that amount of time too, and it's horrible. Let me see here. Trying to scroll through comments here. You got referred to it. Um, just go easy. Whatever you do, just go easy. We all react kind of funny with new treatments and things like that. So just go slow, Angela, is the only thing I could say. I'm no doctor, but just from my own experiences. Let's see here. Okay, so it is a lymphatic massage. Okay, yeah. So I did do that. I did do that, and all my symptoms got way worse at first, and I kept doing it, um, and it didn't really help. Um, and maybe my crash was not due to the massage. It could have just been a bad day, as we all know. Let's see here. If anyone, just for those who just joined, if you have a question, please go in the chat, type question and then the question so I know you're not chatting with someone else. And I'm happy to talk about whatever you want to bring up. Um, I have not tried Abilify. I've read a little bit about it though. Um, Mold is bad for healthy people. A lot of people with ME, CFS also have CIRS, chronic inflammatory response syndrome, which is tied to mold. So I encourage everyone to kind of Google that. CIRS, CIRS, chronic inflammatory response syndrome. I think that's what the acronym is for. But if you're worried about mold or you've been exposed to mold quite a bit, um, I definitely recommend you look that up. Let's see here. Um, Functional medicine. I've had some experience with functional doctors, and I feel like they do offer a different angle than just traditional doctors. Um, and I've had some success, with it. Um, I don't know. I feel like I feel like when you're this sick, you try everything, right? Like, I mean, everyone. I don't know how many. There's 20, 30 people watching. Um, how many people watching have tried dozens of different things that doctors have recommended or your family recommended or you read online. Like I think a lot of us have probably spent a lot of money uh, trying different supplements and different things. um, Kim, yes, mold is bad for everyone, but even worse on top of me. Yeah, I feel like anything on top of me makes it way worse, but yeah, mold for sure, especially if you have SIRS, because your body has a difficult time flushing out toxins. So you're just accumulating toxins in your system. The average person can flush them out. If you have ME, you might not be detoxifying like a healthier person, and that stuff might just be in your system. Um, so that's something to definitely look up, um, and see if you have the gene. I think you can get a blood test to see if you have the gene, for those, to be able to get rid of those toxins. Does anyone else get horrible cluster headaches and migraines? I get migraines a lot. I get migraines probably once a week. Um, they suck. Um, anyone who's had a migraine knows how terrible it is, and yeah, it's it can cause so many symptoms that are, and if you're already dealing, one thing that's horrible, one of many things that's horrible about ME is the compounding effect. It's like you could have digestive issues, brain fog, joint pain, and then just let's sprinkle a little bit of migraine on top of that. And it's just a lot. It's a lot to deal with, and it just really wears you down. The irony is, we've all probably had family members or peers and kind of insinuate you should toughen up and kind of get over it. But I tend to think people with ME and many chronic illnesses are tougher than most. I mean, look how much we're dealing with um, all at once. I tend to think that people in our shoes are pretty resilient. Let's see if anyone else has any other questions or topics you want me to speak on. Please add them in the chat. I'm glad the chat's active. That's why I do this, is so people can exchange ideas and um, just connect with others with ME. Like 20 years ago, we couldn't do this. 15 years ago, we couldn't do this, and a lot of us who had this many years ago, we didn't even know anyone with with ME CFS. We just felt like we are the only ones out here just suffering. Um, but yeah, lung pain, bronchitis, never fully recovered. I've heard of people having lung pain and breathing issues and things like that. I'm just like not amazed and I'm not like surprised anymore. I've heard so many symptoms with this. It's like it's insane. Looks like a lot of people have migraines too. Rich, everything takes energy. Sometimes I have to choose. It's like my battery runs down unexpectedly, often run out of juice before I get to do something for myself. I could relate with that. I could relate with that. Um, and you never know when you're going to run out. So even if you're having a really good day and you're like, I could do a little bit of this, um, one quarter of the way through, you might feel terrible. And people without ME will never understand that. Let's see. I'd love to chat someday about my experience and get it out there. You be up to doing a Zoom stream or something similar down the road? Yeah, I'm not against doing a Zoom or chatting a little bit. Um, if start off, I think you should start off by posting videos a little bit. See if it takes a lot out of you when you have ME. Um, so just maybe practice a little bit on videos and things like that, and see if it's for you first. But yeah, I think anyone that wants to get their story out there should. Let's see. Thank you for validating me. Oh, yeah, Rich, trust me. You don't need my validation, but you have it. I get it. Um, I get it. I don't like letting people down, and not letting people down and having ME is tough because before getting ME, if I said I was going to do something, I did it. If I said I was going to be somewhere, I was there. If I said I'll get this done for you, I got it done, and I would pride myself on being a dependable person. And I feel like that's part of my character that I'm proud of. We all have things we're proud of and not proud of, but that's one of the things that I'm proud of, is that I follow through with things, or used to. So for me to tell you, hey, yeah, sure, I'll help you unload the car, and then I unload one bag and have to sit down and can't, it's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow for you know, a young man. When it first started, I was in my 20s. So, a young, prideful man was pretty tough. How random do you think crashes are? I get crashes all the time, honestly. And I'm pacing myself too. And I get crashes all the time. Let's see here. 30 years with ME, tired of being a warrior from Oklahoma. I'm really sorry to hear that, but please continue to be a warrior. Sitting outside getting daylight for 30 minutes in the morning has been very helpful. You know what? I do the same. I just sit outside. I think it's really, really important. Um, let's see. Sorry for awkward pauses when I do lives. I try to read as best as I can, so I can't keep the rhythm of the video as great as I would like, but I'm trying to read the chat. Yeah, it's tough. I also get pretty bummed out when I hear people getting sick in their teens and 20s, because I could relate, obviously. And yeah, brutal, very brutal. I've heard of people crashing for years at a time, um, months and years. Generally, though, I think it's days to weeks, depending on what caused the crash, right? A lot of variables, but for me, it could be days, weeks. I've had months. Um, that's hard to explain to a doctor, right? Like they don't understand that. Do others have family with ME or fibro? I have no one in my family um, with ME or fibro or autoimmune disease in general. Everyone was pretty healthy. I think I was the unfortunate one. I was super healthy before ME. Um, I know that. Let's see. So your daily limit is 900 steps. So you've improved a little bit. That's good. That's really good. And the fact that you know your limit means you're doing things the right way. Sometimes people keep pushing and pushing, which is generally good. But with ME, we know that's not the best. But that's good that you're up to 900 steps and hopefully it keeps increasing. Um, Tower Junkie, you had a crash for about a year and have gone downhill since then. Sorry to hear that. And yeah, some crashes can permanently make you worse, and it sucks. It lowers like your baseline every time you have a severe crash sometimes. I got sick at 16, been sick for 4 years. That's brutal. 16, it's like you're supposed to be having a ton of fun, and even at 20, you should be having a lot of fun. I think I was like 22 um, when I got sick. It's like a blur now, but I was in my early 20s and not fun. It's tough. Everyone's going out, going to bars, that kind of stuff, and you're just like, I'm in bed, sick. It's just terrible. Um, what do you suggest for supplements? I can't really suggest anything because I'm not a doctor, but I could tell you what I take, what's worked for me. And to be honest, what works for me sometimes works for some time, then it stops working, and then I kind of go back and forth. But right now, I'm taking a lot of vitamin D, a high quality vitamin C. I take very strong probiotics. I take low dose naltrexone, um, and then I take milk thistle and fish oil. That's currently what I'm taking right now. Um, so yeah, it's a lot of stuff. Sometimes I take even more than that. Thank you for doing this chat. I'm in a 3-year crash full of PM. Sorry to hear that. That's horrible. Um, and I was very healthy and active. Yeah, me too. My daughter has fibro. I'm sorry to hear that. Fibro's tough. I feel like fibro and ME are cousins, but that's like a whole nother. I should probably do a video on that. Honey Brown was trying to take out the trash today, put my clothes on, and now can't get off bed. Even typing is hard now. I'm really sorry to hear that. Um, I think we've all experienced that to a degree. It sucks. Let's see. If I push, I crash. Yeah, it's hard not to push yourself. Um, let's see here. So Diana Kelly. So LDN. So again, I'm not a doctor. I'm just going to share what's been shared with me. and then you go talk to your doctor. But LDN, from what I have been told, should never really go above 4.5 milligrams for it to work for what we're trying to get it to work. And also, it's supposed to be from a compounding pharmacy, so you're not supposed to just get regular LDN and then break it or y- measure it or whatnot. So that's what's been shared with me. So I encourage you to kind of dig a little deeper into that. For some people, even 2 milligrams, 1 milligram, 3.5 milligrams, but I think the max is 4.5, 5 milligrams. So I encourage you to look up some research on that and kind of go from there. Um, let's see here. Tried milk thistle. Milk thistles help me with stomach issues. I'm sorry that you barely graduated high school. That should be like a really fun time in your life, and you're young, and hopefully there's hopefully treatments in the pipeline so you can enjoy the later decades of your life and make up for lost time. I really hope that happens. Um, Different organs being inflamed. I don't know if that's normal for ME/CFS. That's above my pay grade, but I've never heard of that. So I'm gonna hop off in a couple minutes. Um, I'm tired, as you might be able to understand. But um, yeah, throw some final questions in, and yeah, I'll wrap up. I'm just reading through the chat. Hi, randomly got recommended to you. Nice to meet you. Hello, I'm glad you got recommended to the channel. I hope you uh, find some help here and connect with people. And sorry that you're going through a flare. I know it's a sensitive topic, but does anyone think there's a connection between history of trauma or dysfunctional family and ME/CFS? I always find dealing with toxic people is extra draining. I do think there is a lot of science at this point showing that having severe trauma as a kid kind of opens the door to having health issues when you're older. I think that's been proven. I don't know how much ME is connected to that. Also, a lot of us have gone through traumas as kids. It's just kind of part of life. So I think it's hard to really connect the two, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's connected. That's just my view. Um, Body temperature. I have issues with body temperature. Yeah. Um, Hard for me to cool down if it's hot, things like that. Um, let's see here. Okay, well, I'm gonna hop off here. Um, Obviously, none of us want to go into post-exertional malaise, so I'm gonna hop off. But I love talking to you guys. Thank you for participating. Looks like 32, 35, something like that. People um, joined, and I love chatting with you guys, and I love that you guys chat amongst each other and gain awareness, knowledge, and connect with people. So yeah, until next time, I'll try to do a live again, um, and hopefully talk to you guys some more. So until next time, take care, and thanks for joining.